Welcome to the channel. I'm Tony the Technician. Today we're going to be going into the MichaelPro 3.5-ton floor jack. So this is a big boy. My largest floor jack is my 3-ton from Harbor Freight, and then I also have a lightweight, low profile aluminum racing floor jack from Harbor Freight, which both have been great. I've had one for almost 10 years, the other one for a couple, 2-3 years, and they've been great. This one can handle a little bit more weight, but it is built like a tank. So we're going to go into the build quality, comparing it to my 3-ton, just so you guys can kind of see the differences in the gauge thickness of the metal, the design differences, as well as some of the operation features that this jack has that my Pittsburgh doesn't. So we'll be going over the specs, features, pricing, all that good information, and then I'll show it in use a little bit. And I really hope you guys enjoy. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I will have it linked down in the description for you guys. But if you guys enjoyed today's video, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. And if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe. Let's go ahead and take a look. So here I just have it set up so you guys can kind of get an idea of the MichaelPro 3.5-ton floor jack compared to my Pittsburgh 3-ton heavy-duty floor jack that I've had for probably close to 10 years. And then the Pittsburgh 1.5-ton lightweight racing aluminum floor jack. It's going to be more of a comparison between these two as far as features, but I wanted to set them all next to each other so you guys could get a size comparison, so you guys can kind of see some of the differences. I'm going to bring you in closer so you guys can see those features, but I just wanted you guys to see them all next to each other. Here you can see the side of the Pittsburgh where it has its bent flanges or rolled edge in order to give it more rigidity and strength. Here they've done the same thing, not quite as wide, but they also have used thicker material as far as the metal used, and then they also double walled it here, so there's definitely a lot of strength here for sure. Here you guys can kind of see that a little bit better. And then the pivot point for the arm right here is actually greasable on the MichaelPro version on both sides. So I do like that. Looking at the front, the Pittsburgh uses a 2-inch wide front roller, and these are just a little bit wider at 2¼ inches. Definitely really beefy rollers. You can see the arms here are extra heavy duty, even compared to this one. Even though this one's only a half-ton more, they definitely used thicker gauge materials. And then this one does come with the rubber boot. I just lost it many years ago. I just throw a shop rag in there whenever I use it on specific things. But it does have a removable rubber pad for the front that just kind of squeezes down in there. It is a cast iron lift arm, so this jack by no means is it light. This is a heavy boy. So this is not something that a lot of people are going to be carrying around or wanting to carry around, like throwing in your vehicle and taking places or anything like that. That's more for geared towards this type of jack. This one's not terrible. It's not light, but it's not, extremely heavy. This is quite a bit heavier. I can't tell you an exact weight on the 3-ton, but I do know this MichaelPro one is just right around 100 pounds. As far as lifting capabilities, it starts at 3.5 inches, so it is nice and low at 3.5 inches, and it does lift to a max height of 21.5 inches, which is slightly taller than the 3-ton. Obviously, this being from Harbor Freight, they do have other options, just not these two. They also have long reach ones. Daytona has a whole lineup. I mean, they have a lot of different options, but just comparing it between the one that I have, it sits a little bit lower, obviously being the lower profile design, and it's got a slightly higher reach than the standard 3-ton heavy duty. The thing that I really like about this jack is it has a built-in lowering speed control. So when you have it up and it's supporting weight, when you go to try and crack it real easily, so you just don't, drop whatever's on the jack real quickly, it has a metering valve that actually just doesn't matter if you crack it or accidentally turn it, a half turn. It prevents it from doing that quick drop. It holds it and just slowly lowers it. So I do think that's a fantastic feature, so you don't have to worry about sudden drops. The other thing is it also has a built-in bypass valve to prevent overpumping. So when you reach its maximum height, it's going to bypass the fluid so it doesn't damage anything. I believe the Pittsburgh is that way as well. I think this one just maxes out, but I'll show you that feature when we lift them up. There's just kind of a look at the front of it and look from above so you guys can see kind of how much thicker that material is on that arm. And moving to the rear, it does have, there you can see a little bit better. Here you can see it has shorter, for that low profile design, the mount is actually lower than the standard height design, but it's also wider. So I like that they use nice wide rollers and casters on here. So I can even use this jack on this floor without damaging it. Whereas like, if this didn't have the solid roller up front, I wouldn't use that on this flooring because smaller casters will dig into flooring like this. Not a lot of people have to worry about that, but that's just something I keep in mind. So I do like the rollers and casters that are on this jack. The other thing that I like is the handle on this jack. So with a lot of the jacks that you find in store, they just have a two-piece that's real thin metal and just held together by either a detent pin or a bolt like this. And they're usually pretty sloppy. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, it works, no issues. Same thing as this one here, which it just uses that detent pin. But this is actually bolted together. It's very thick. And then down in the center is actually an internal tube or sleeve that has threads in it, and then you have a bolt from each side. So it is extremely sturdy. There's no play in this handle whatsoever. So it's a heavy duty handle. Now, the one thing I would prefer is if they had installed a foam sleeve on this. You can pick this stuff up and install it yourself, so it's not a big deal. You could get roll cage foam or, you know, really anything, HVAC stuff, foam like this that you can wrap around it if you don't like that it's bare. There is no protective foam on it like what you see on the other jacks, which is actually surprising because this isn't very much. I think that would be a simple addition that they could put on there. But something I did notice is with these larger jacks and certain brands, they will do this to where the handle is actually angled. There is no going 90 degrees with it. So it's more likely to hit a car with jacks that have a 90-degree handle, whereas this one's as far forward as it will go. So it prevents it from getting close or as close as jacks of this style, as you can see there. So it's less likely for that one to hit. So this one's not as bad anymore, but a lot of times when you release this handle, it will tend to come back up. But with the MichaelPro, wherever you place it, it stays. So like even if I move it forward, it just stays wherever you place it. So unless you physically shove it up, then it should stay away from the vehicle. So I do like that. So it lessens the chance, because I don't know how many times I've been working on the car and had to worry about this coming up and hitting the door or whatever when I'm lifting from the side of the vehicle. So I would still like to see the foam there, but I do like that the handle isn't spring-loaded to return. But just so you guys can quickly see, the powder coating looks great on it. The handle, the packaging was decent. It did have a hole blown in it from, I think, this portion here that was sticking out the box, but there was no damage done to it. So I think it could probably be packaged a little bit better, but it's also hard to package something that is 100 pounds and is shaped like this. But there wasn't any damage, and the powder coating is really nice on it. And then there's this little cover where you can see this one's kind of built into it. That one doesn't have one. And this one's just got like a little storage tray. You could put lug nuts here, whatever you may be using. And it just sits over top of that. So there's that. Now, the big thing is This is a single piston versus what is more commonly seen today. A lot of jacks will use this dual piston, which just allows more movement through the orifices. So it's supposed to allow you to jack up a vehicle or whatever you're jacking up faster. I won't necessarily say it's faster, at least not compared to this MichaelPro jack. It may be easier, and hopefully I can make sense of this. The dual piston allows the fluid to move through two different areas instead of one. So I won't say that the two piston is faster, because this one does operate very quickly, but this takes less pressure to lift. Where this, I mean, it's not a ton more force. I'm still just doing it with one finger, but it just takes more pressure. But the handle is nice and long on this, so it's not like neither of them are difficult to operate. Still both, there's just less pressure or force required to move this handle than the MichaelPro. But what MichaelPro has here is a quick or easy up. So when there's no weight on here, so let's say you slide it underneath the vehicle or the truck, a lot of times you're sitting there, you know, jacking it to try and get it up to the frame or whatever you're going to lift from, like this. And I'm about maybe half to 3/4 of the way up on that after, you know, 10 or so pumps. This has an easy quick up, so I'll just do 2 partial pumps, and I'm already about 3/4 of the way there. I can go with 2 full pumps on this of the handle. I can go all the way up. So let me set up the camera real quick. There you could see it activated the slow release, so it doesn't just drop quickly. I'll show you guys that as well. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Pittsburgh. I'm just going to get this thing up all the way. I'm gonna make sure it's all the way down, and then we're gonna go all the way up with it and see how many pumps it takes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 1/4, and then it hits the bypass, so it doesn't damage the jack. Releasing it. Oh, this is sketchy. I'm only 170 pounds, but it went down pretty quickly. So let's do the MichaelPro. 1 3/4 of a pump. You can hear the bypass on this one, so you don't damage it. So now it's all the way up with 1 3/4 of a full pump. And then to release this one, it is nice and slow. It doesn't have that sudden drop right at the beginning. And then how this works, when there's no weight on here, you can pump it up and it lifts a lot. As soon as it makes contact, it then applies pressure and moves a lot less. So it's nice because you can quickly get to whatever you're going to lift, and then it goes to its full pressure. So like here, if there's weight on it, you can see I'm pumping quite a bit, but it's only lifting a small amount. But then as soon as the weight's released off of it, it allows it to pump it up much quicker. It's really convenient when you're working in tight confined spaces, to where maybe, like if I go under the front bumper of my car, it sits about right here. So instead of sitting here doing this 100 times trying to get it pumped up to just touch the frame, this allows me to get good movement on the arm. Or if I'm going up underneath my truck and my truck, you know, lifting point is right here, I mean, 1 pump and I'm gonna be there. So it's really nice and just quick, and it's very convenient. So that's just a quick comparison of the MichaelPro 3.5 ton floor jack compared to the Pittsburgh 3-ton that I've had for, I don't know, probably close to 10 years, but there are a lot of different options now compared to what they had almost 10 years ago. I will say the pricing on this does fluctuate a lot. Whereas I picked this, I can't even remember what I picked this up for way back in the day. But their floor jacks, depending on the size that you get, range anywhere from $100 to $400. I want to say 100 to 3. Depends on about the off-road jack, but standard jacks $100 to $300. This will fluctuate quite a bit. I've seen it tracking the price as low as $250 and its full price $400. I don't believe it's worth it at the $400 price. It's on sale right now at, I believe, $340. But if you can catch this around $300 or below, I think that's a fantastic option. But I think anywhere above $320, there are other jacks with the same capabilities and features for a little bit cheaper. So I think this is a fantastic jack with its features and its build quality if you can find it below $320. I think that's fair. I think Daytona's I think they just have it. I don't know if they have a 3.5 ton, but I know theirs range between 260 and 280. So I think for this to be a real competitive offering, it needs to be comparable in pricing. I think that's the only downside to this jack is the fluctuation in pricing. I don't think it's worth it at $400. If you can find it at $300 or below, I think it's a buy all day long if you're in need of a jack, especially for the 3.5 ton. But once again, don't forget, this thing is not a light duty. This is a heavy duty jack. It's going to weigh it as well. Close to 100 pounds here, 99 point something. I can't remember for sure, but I'm just going to set it up on the car and we're going to get the rear of it jacked up and we'll close out the video. So it's lined up and one pump and we're on. Well, you know, it's got that easy up. It quickly got there within a little bit. A lot of pressure to lift it. Works very, very nicely. And then let's go ahead and drop this thing. So you know how sketchy this can be doing it one-handed, uncontrolled. It's actually really smooth. I would not trust doing this one-handed with my Pittsburgh jack just because it will drop it quite quickly. So while there are some jacks that have that foot pedal here that will allow you to pump it up real quickly or release it, this doesn't have that, but it does have the easy up and drop prevention on the lowering. So I think it's got a lot of cool features. I will have this link down in the description for you guys. Let me know your guys' thoughts on it, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, please make sure to smash that thumbs up, and if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.